Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network proudly brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino Show. He is Tino Gray. I am Rob Potsy Potchak. We are the old age outlaws. Yes.
Show.
While it's not on here, as we went live, I do want to go ahead and say that our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Songs, available on iTunes for 99 cents. Yeah. He had a beer, folks. Beer. And it was a Bud Light.
That's right. I gotta watch my boys figure.
You're just like Kamala?
Follow.
What was his manager's name? Kimchi.
Made me hungry for Chinese.
So we know that not everybody that's watching my YouTube channel is all about pro wrestling. And Tino and I just got out of watching Ant-Man and the Wasp in IMAX 3D. And Tino, how was the 3D?
3D was awesome. I've never seen an IMAX. I mean, that's my first IMAX experience, I think, in 3D. I've seen IMAX, but in 3D, that was awesome. Everything was coming at you.
It was coming at you.
Even the noise.
Tino was mentioning something about wanting to watch porn in 3D.
No, that was you.
No, I did not. You actually said you want to watch porn in 3D, and I said no. Literally, I was the one that said no.
He's such a liar. But anyway. What you got going on, sir? Usually we do this on Facebook Live, though. Yeah,
we're trying something new. You know, I've been doing the YouTube live streams for a little while now, so I figured, I might as well. Tino doesn't have anything going on because his wife and kids went out of town.
Yes. for 2 weeks. They left last Sunday, which would have been July the 1st, and they're coming back next Saturday, which is going to be July the 14th.
So Tino had nothing to do. He was actually really, really bored.
Yes.
So he called me up and said, "Hey, fool, what you doing?"
And then he's like, "I'm cutting the grass."
I'm cutting the grass.
Then I'm gonna catch Pokemon. I'm like,
and I did. I caught 7 shiny Pokemon today, and a shiny with sunglasses. So after posting on my Instagram account that I did not catch any shinies with sunglasses, I did catch one.
And he's excited about this, ladies and gentlemen.
I am. Man, I will tell you, okay, in Durham, North Carolina, we were out at South Point Mall, and there were hundreds of people actually out there for Community Day, actually walking, talking, and then this little kid kept coming up to me, and this is right when I first started playing today, and this little kid comes up, and he goes, "How many shinies you got?" And I just gotten my first one. I was like, "I got one." I'm excited. I got one. I'm good. And the little kid looks at me, and Tino, he goes, "I got 4." I was like, the damn thing started like 8 minutes ago.
He busted your bubble.
And he did. And then shortly thereafter, my brother-in-law, who also plays Pokemon Go, sitting there in South Carolina, decides he wants to brag a little bit and tell me that he'd already caught the one with sunglasses. And I was like, that's not effing possible.
And then you cried.
I almost did.
No.
I didn't. I actually just kept playing, and I was.
Get out more. I need to get you a life.
Wow.
A wife. Something.
Been there, done that. I probably have a T-shirt for it or something. I don't know. Yeah. Best decision I never made, that divorce. So Tino, the wife is out of town. The kids are out of town. What have you been doing to keep yourself busy besides work?
Work. A lot of movies, a lot of shows I hadn't seen. Wrestling. I went out for the 4th of July. I went over to my best friend. Went over to Paul's house to hang out with him and his family, and we just grilled out and had fireworks.
Notice he just snuck in there, best friend.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be my best friend, but he decided I'm here every year. I depend on Rob on the 4th of July because my wife goes out of town. He knows this every year at the same time. I'm in the 4th of July at Rob's house. This year he goes, "I'm going to Myrtle Beach." I'm like, I got nowhere to go.
You could have come down to Myrtle Beach.
I had to work.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's not my fault.
You shouldn't have left.
I actually made sure. Well, what would we have done? Nothing.
We just sat here and watched wrestling and drank, grilled out, and shot off fireworks over the lake like we do every year.
But we don't have any fireworks now.
I got some.
Oh, okay.
I got some.
Did you bring them?
Never
This is YouTube, man. This is where we actually go outside. We start firing stuff off and just look like fools, apparently, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do on YouTube?
Yes. And then there was someone on Facebook that said, this is the only holiday where somebody's guaranteed to lose a finger.
Yeah. Who is it? Pierre Paul from the New York Giants posted a I guess a personal public service announcement after he blew off like 2 fingers last year on a accident. So you went with your buddy Paul. What you end up like? Did you watch fireworks?
We actually did fireworks on the in this little cul-de-sac in this neighborhood. It was kind of cool. And then went home, and then worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I went out Friday night just around the corner to a local place in Doherty's and had a couple beers, and then did it again Saturday night. So I was trying to get a hold of you, and you were coming back from Wilson. So I'm like, well, we'll get together today.
Yeah. I went out to Wilson. July 4th. You're right. I went down to South Carolina. I went to Myrtle Beach. Checked out my sister's new place. And while I was there, they decided they wanted to try, seeing what the fuss was all about with the fireworks in Myrtle Beach, and totally it rocked.
Yeah.
I mean, because like as far as you could see down the beach at night when it was dark out, you were seeing fireworks going up. And then if you turned the other direction, you saw fireworks going up.
That's cool. So
you saw that there were a couple professional sets going off. And then obviously they're, like 30 feet from us, there's some guy grabbing mortar shells and firing them off. And, it's like, hey, could you just let, the show go on? Because there's shows going everywhere. But I posted on Instagram a couple pictures of some of the weird stuff down there, man. Like everybody's got a golf cart that they drive to the beach with. So we parked in the golf cart parking lot. Like literally, there's one.
Shane does have a golf cart.
Oh yeah. His says like beach life or something on the side of it. Yeah. As wrestling fans, today, by the way, 22 years to the day that the NWO started.
Really?
Yep, 22 years to the day.
Wow.
Bash at the Beach. What would that be? 96?
Yeah. We should watch it on the network.
We can watch it on the network, but before we watch that, if we're going to watch anything, we should probably watch the first day of the G1.
Okay.
New Japan, folks.
All right. But tell them you've already apparently checked it out. So what did you learn from the New Japan?
Well, I didn't even talk about the rest of what I did this week.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Well, you started it.
Well, we podcast wrestling, but when I'm YouTubing, I really have kept wrestling off.
We're taking over.
Yeah, we're actually doing like the NWO, getting a little black and white color going.
Yeah, it keeps doing that.
I don't know. It's YouTube, man. Actually, that's one of the things I've started looking, because if I want to become this YouTube streamer, I'm thinking that I'm going to need a better camera.
Yeah, because that was just the other one on the computer.
Yeah, the one on the laptop, 720, and they make up the 4K ones now. I'm not going to get a 4K one, I don't think, but I might do a 1080p one, because those are similar to like what our phones can do, and yet this isn't even the same quality as that.
So you can actually do a show from your phone.
Yeah, I can.
Nice.
And in fact, what we're going to try to do is start uploading our show to the YouTube page to see if we can actually get some people to listen to it that way. So what else I did? You already mentioned it. I was out at the Arkham Comics in Wilson, North Carolina, and they did a wedding and an anniversary yesterday on Saturday. And what was really cool, I actually posted the wedding to the YouTube page already. It was a legit wedding. Two people that cosplay as Batman and Catwoman decided that they wanted to renew their vows. They'd already been married. I think they said 8 years. But yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the Arkham Comics in Wilson, North Carolina. So congratulations to Bill and Tiff for that. So I went out to that. I did some sketches. Had dinner with the crew out there. It was pretty cool. Possibly have some new ideas going for other things. I've been trying to get an anthology going with like local creators, and yesterday was the perfect day to talk about it because there were like 4 or 5 other creators out there. So we started shooting ideas back and forth to see what we can come up with for that.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously it was an hour drive out there, an hour drive back. I had to work in the morning, so I mean yesterday was just full of woo. Today I mowed the lawn.
I did too because it was nice out for the first time. It wasn't 100 degrees.
Yeah, it was like 82, 83 degrees when I went out there to do it, so it wasn't too bad. I have to go get more gas for the mower, but
me too.
But yeah, so got that done. And I'm now 10 days away from San Diego Comic-Con.
You excited?
I am, but man, it's busy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what the publisher's actually going through right now and how busy he actually is, considering how busy I feel right now. But so there's that. Out there, we'll have a 12-page preview book for Junior High Horrors. I'll actually also have the 4-issue collected version of Immortal. Probably talked about that a little bit on our show.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I've actually mentioned it to the people that might be watching the stream, but we're really excited about it. We just announced, and hopefully I'll get the approval, and I may get the approval while I'm sitting here talking to everybody, that I can actually post like what the booth is going to look like when we go out there. But we are going to have Billy and I for Junior High Horrors. We're going to have a 9-foot tall by 4.5-foot banner that has Junior High Horrors first cover on it.
Nice.
And then for Immortal, I'll also have a 9-foot tall by 4.5-foot banner. So the Pots and Pans Network will be taking over half. Or a full side of the 4-sided booth structure. Wow. Yeah.
So when that's over, what do you get to keep that?
I'm going to. Probably the storage unit. Maybe right there across the wall. I don't.
9 foot.
Yeah, I don't even think this ceiling is 9 feet tall. I think this is an 8-foot tall ceiling, but it folds down. So similar to the pull-up banner that I've got. Which, by the way, folks, go ahead and take a look at any of the videos from the Arkham Comics wedding. You will absolutely, by no means, miss that Rob Pochak was at least there. You might not see this visage, but you will definitely see my banner right behind where the wedding's going on.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, Bill told me to go ahead and set up, so I set everything up. And when they decided they were going to start the wedding, I was like, okay, I got to get out of here. So I just got out of the seat and moved and left all my stuff there. So there's just, my 8-foot tall banner.
I gotta go back and check that out.
It's pretty funny. Yeah. So that's going on. I mean, dude, like the North Carolina local comic book scene is awesome. Like there's so many writers out there, so many artists out there. It's really cool to actually sit down and get to talk to them. And what makes these events even better is that you're not going to like the convention and paying like $300 or $400 or $500 for a table, which all of a sudden starts stressing you out about, okay, I got to make sales. I got to make sales. So, like it would have been better had we, had any of us been selling stuff. And I'm sure some of them did. I showed up because one of the other people actually said I can't, or actually I don't even think they said they couldn't make it. They just didn't show up.
Oh, wow.
So I showed up and I was like, and they were like, yeah, go ahead and set up. I was like, sweet. So I was almost like a stand-in, I guess. But like these types of events where you've got just other creators there, it's a lot more lackadaisical. It's a lot more refreshing because you get the opportunity to just like chill out and talk to people. So if the guests in the store aren't coming up to you, you just start shooting the shit with everybody else.
Right.
And that for me just makes all the networking and everything worthwhile. Like I've networked the hell out of myself at conventions, but that takes you away from your table. That takes you away from trying to sell. And in actuality, it's probably the last thing you want to do necessarily. But at the same time, I want to meet the people.
Right.
I want to meet the people that are actually trying to buy the stuff. But more than anything, I want to meet the people that want to create the stuff because how do you 20 years ago when I started in this, it's like if you weren't on AOL in one little chat group, you didn't ever get to meet any of these people. You know, like
I
you'd
don't
see him,
know.
you'd see him at a comic book convention and be like, "Oh, so you're that guy." Now, you know, your pictures on Facebook and everybody, you know, it's like Facebook stalking. In fact, that's what I talked to one of the guys, Aaron, who's another local writer. He's got like 19 different projects going on right now, and you know, yesterday I was like, hey, it's nice to finally, you know, put a name with a face, even though I've seen your face because I Facebook stalk you, you know.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, we kind of follow each other, and yeah, it's you know, so it's just a lot of fun.
Cool.
So all right, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. You know, BSing about that stuff, I guess.
Oh, cool.
So
What else you got?
did you? I guess now we can do what we always do.
Let's hit it.
All right. Did you watch either of the shows?
I watched both. I can't remember much about SmackDown yet. Usually we have our phones out. And we have the
And we're talking about what actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch SmackDown. Although I will say, okay, so without watching SmackDown and not really remembering Raw, because like with everything that's gone on this week, working, going down south for 2 days, coming back up, going to Rocky or Wilson for the day. I don't really remember much of what happened on the shows, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on.
Yeah, and one of the big things behind this thing that I'm hearing is apparently Nia and Alexa are feuding backstage. Now I don't know if that's all part of the gimmick that they've got going on because they've got a match coming up in the next pay-per-view, or if they really are starting to butt heads. But some people are even saying that Nia may be having a little bit of heat with the backstage management because of it.
Well, and we all know that Nia Jax is someone's cousin.
And you keep saying that's why she keeps getting pushed, because they're trying to keep him happy.
Well, she should get pushed anyway because she is a talented woman, and she is different than everybody else. We've already said on our podcast that she is the only woman that has her weight announced.
Yes.
And apparently it was either Michael Hayes or Fit Finley actually said that the reason why we want to announce your weight is because you're a beautiful woman,
mm-hmm.
and you should be proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I buy it.
Yeah.
And obviously she is the only woman that gets her weight announced. Awesome Kong might have in like her 2 appearances in the WWE, but I don't remember. Yeah. So yeah, that I've always said, and we didn't mention him by name, but The Rock is the cousin of Nia Jax, and I have always said that it seems that because of their relationship with him and how he is in the business, they always try to make everybody in his family happy, and it's not always they make them happy, but they feature them prominently.
Yes.
The Usos have been given more than one chance, although physically in the ring, they're awesome. Rikishi brought back multiple times. The Usos are his sons, but they're all cousins of The Rock. In fact, if you look at Jimmy and Jay, if they were to shave their heads, they look like less swole versions of The Rock,
And you have Roman.
Then you have Roman, who obviously, Vince is sitting there trying to push as The Rock, but he's trying to push him as like Pineapple Head Rock, not. And I say that because The Rock has actually been known to say he had pineapple hair. He's trying to push him as Rocky Maivia right down our throats. We're getting tired of it. It's boggling our minds, right? Yes. So yeah, so I'm surprised you even brought up the Nia Jax thing with Alexa, because I don't really know anything about it.
Wow.
I stick to certain news outlets for stuff. One of the things I asked Dave Meltzer specifically on Twitter whether or not any of the McMahons are actually bona fide billionaires because of the stock price right now. And he said, besides Vince, none of them actually own enough stock to actually be considered billionaires. But I would almost think that with the amount of stock options that people like Triple H are earning,
mm-hmm.
at some point,
they have to be close.
Triple H is going to be a bona fide billionaire with, and his salary is still $3 million a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So just imagine that, like
and
when
he's married in the family, so he's
the $1 billion princess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one that I was thinking Stephanie may actually have enough stock in the company to where she's actually looked at as that. But as we all know, Vince actually sold 330,000 shares so that he had $1 million to go ahead and start the XFL stuff back up. And it turns out that had he sold it now, it would have been like $2.5 billion.
Yes.
How crazy is that to know that 5 years ago when WWE stock started, it was like $9 a share, and now it's over $70. And we've said it on our podcast. I know that I've specifically said it to anybody that sits there and asks me why is Roman Reigns so prominently featured. I've already said
Vince doesn't care anymore.
Vince doesn't care. Vince is printing money right now with the stock, and because of that, he doesn't have to care about any of that stuff. But
I think at some point though, the fans are getting sick and tired from Roman Reigns getting pushed down their throats to we have a champion who never defends the championship. I know he's making this money with the WWE network, but don't you think at some point in time people are like they're going to stop buying the network because they're going to start watching all together?
Yeah,
they might cancel their subscriptions.
At this point, they've got 1.5 million subscribers. If they drop to 1.4, they're still making money.
Yeah,
because they've already heck, back on my old show. We kind of went into the numbers, and all they had to do was hit 1 million on a monthly basis to make money on that. But now it's not even just the network. Now starting in October next year, they're going to be making $240 million a year from Raw. They're going to be making $205 million a year from Fox, for SmackDown. They're going to make the deal with Saudi Arabia was $200 million to do one big show there a year, from what I'm hearing. Now, I think they'll probably do a couple more shows there.
I think they're going to pick up some more shows there, and they're also talking about doing Australia now too.
Well, Australia's booked.
Yes,
like they're doing it, and the first match was announced. It's the final meeting of The Undertaker and Triple H. So those two will actually face off at that great big show, or whatever they're calling it. I don't. The greatest Royal Rumble was the last one. This one's probably going to be the
greatest SummerSlam.
The greatest, the greatest slam of summer. It's
the greatest mini wrestle.
I don't know, but
Ring of the King.
But the one. Okay, so there's two other really big backstage stories going on in the WWE right now.
What you got?
First one is Daniel Bryan's contract is up on September 1st.
Yes.
So normally, by now, someone who's not signed by Vince McMahon
would be signed.
Would be buried by Vince McMahon.
He can't bury Daniel Bryan because he knows if he lets Daniel Bryan go, Daniel Bryan's going to go pull Cody Rhodes. Daniel Bryan can go somewhere else and make some other company bigger. Except
Daniel Bryan is also prominently featured on Total Bellas. Daniel Bryan right now is in a unique spot because just like Alberto Del Rio was on Total Divas while he was dating Paige, now
he was in TNA,
and all of a sudden he showed up in TNA because they reached an agreement to release him. I mean, this isn't like the World Wildlife Fund where they're just going to start blurting out Daniel Bryan's face and just letting you talk to Brie. We all know who he is. We all know what's going on with him. And I'm surprised they haven't made that the storyline of Total Bellas, after this whole John Cena and Nikki Bella thing, why they're not making the Daniel Bryan contract negotiations the big part of the story.
They're probably still trying to negotiate. I'm sure they're trying to negotiate something with him.
Yeah. Well, apparently he just hired the same agent that John Cena has. So his brother-in-law. Now, I guess not his brother-in-law because they didn't actually get married. So
there was also an interview on, I believe it was, I forget what YouTube show,
Was it this YouTube show?
It wasn't this YouTube show.
It wasn't my show.
Watching this YouTube show, but they were saying that they asked Bryan if they thought that they would have him versus The Miz at the next WrestleMania, and he literally said, "Do you trust WWE to write something like that?"
So,
and I'm like, can you say that and not get fired?
So right now, what I've actually heard is at Extreme Rules, The Miz will cost Team Hell Yes I'm not calling him Team Hell No because he doesn't say no anymore. It's Hell Yes, right? Team Hell Yes.
Hell No.
It's Team Hell Yes.
Hug it out.
And we're still hitting each other because we're men. So the Miz will cost them the championship match that they're supposed to have at Extreme Rules, and that would then cause the lead up to why Daniel Bryan has to have the match at SummerSlam with him, so they can at least have that match just in case Daniel Bryan decides I don't want to work for WWE anymore. You know,
I was hoping they'd have it for the title. That was my whole going back to the Money in the Bank. I was hoping that Miz would win it.
Yeah, but you can't put Daniel Bryan in a title match if Daniel Bryan's not signed. Otherwise, you have the Montreal Screwjob.
Or you'd have CM Punk.
Or you'd have CM Punk, but WWE would screw that up by having him show back up on TV in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I've already told you that that's what they should do. They should have Daniel Bryan win the championship at his last match and then immediately show up on like Ring of Honor TV with the WWE championship and have them blurting it out because he's not supposed to have that championship. And, obviously, WWE's worked with Ring of Honor in the past to get video rights and stuff for different DVD packages. They even had like on the Hardy's WWE 24, they actually had some of the stuff that they did at both TNA and when they showed up in Ring of Honor.
Let them win it and put on a laundry blaze and then show up and throw the title in the trash. I don't think
No.
won't do that.
No. However, right now I think
Brock Lesnar's pretty much done that.
No, I don't think so. Brock has respected his championship as much as he's supposed to. Vince probably didn't let him show up on UFC television with that belt. And all of that's because we're kind of steamrolling right into the other behind the scenes storyline, which is a real fighting thing. You've got UFC now with Brock Lesnar showing up and pretty much, like that pay-per-view from what I heard was actually extremely good from almost every match standpoint. One match was kind of a dud right at the beginning of the show, but then the rest of it was just tremendous. And Brock shows up right before the main event, sits next to Dana White. And after the match, Daniel Cormier gets his championship belt put around his waist. Brock Lesnar enters the octagon, gets in his face, and there's a pushing match going on. Suddenly, it is straight up right out of like Vince McMahon's storyline book.
So this man hadn't been on UFC TV or anything for how long? And now all of a sudden he can just come right in and be in a contendership spot for that title. Isn't that kind of a slap in the face of people who they're busting their asses day in and day out?
Well, yes, except it's just like WWE in that essence, which is
Ronda did the same thing. I guess.
Well, Ronda's different because she went the opposite direction, right? But the difference is Brock Lesnar prints money in the UFC. UFC 200, which was almost 2 years ago now. Like, they needed somebody. They called up Vince. They got Vince to approve him fighting one fight. He won the fight. Best buy rate they've ever had. Then all of a sudden comes back with a USADA doping thing, and it becomes a no contest.
Yeah.
Didn't become the other guy wins.
This is no contest.
Became a no contest, which means Dana White didn't piss off Brock Lesnar either. He did what he had to do. He could have went a lot further with that, right? So there it is. Brock Lesnar shows up. Brock Lesnar starts a pushing match, and Dana White's got to kind of break them up. And he even said that somebody pushed him, and he was like, "Oh no."
There's a still frame, and I don't remember where I saw it, and it might have been on the Bleacher Report, where Cormier and Brock Lesnar are pushing each other, and you see Dana in the background like this.
No, that wasn't Dana. That was Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's got this. He's just ear to ear grin.
You saw that too,
though. Oh yeah, I saw. Well, what's funny is on Bleacher Report, one of the things says Daniel Cormier starts pushing match with Brock Lesnar on, and when you open that message up so you can actually read the article, it actually says that Brock Lesnar started a pushing match with Dan. So like, because I didn't actually watch the fight,
you don't know who started it.
I don't know who started it. Now, at the same time, I can say that Daniel Cormier is now being looked at as one of the best of all time because he's been a 2-weight champion. He's overcome all of the odds. The only thing he didn't do was beat John Bones Jones, and that's because John Bones Jones was caught doping twice. So,
and now Brock's going to come back and whoop his tail.
Well, so here's the question, right? So right now, if you read Wade Keller or Dave Meltzer, one of them, sits there and says they don't know what Brock's status is with the WWE. Then if you read the other one, I think it is Dave Meltzer that actually says he's got one match left. And Dana White, after the UFC fight last night, I did watch the post-match press conference with him, and he said this isn't upsetting Vince McMahon at all because it's not part of his contract with them. So like Brock has at least 5 to 6 months that he can't fight for UFC because he's got to clear their doping, their doping restrictions for his suspension. They want him at November's UFC event 226, which wait, I think last night was 226. They want him at the one in November, which is Madison Square Garden. They want him at the world's greatest arena, right? Or most famous arena. They want him there at that one. But if they don't get him there, they'll have him in December, which will end up being like the end of year show on like the 29th. Right. And it'll be Brock Lesnar, Daniel Cormier. And Daniel Cormier has already said he wants to retire next year. So it almost feels like this is pushing for how do we make one giant money fight for him. Right. And Daniel Cormier deserves a giant money fight. He really hasn't had one.
So at this point, and it comes to the same question that we've asked before, and it kind of blurs the line. Is the UFC along the lines of WWE as scripted fights?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, I know.
You're setting it up like he wants to retire, and here comes Brock Lesnar.
It's funny because one of the things Dana White said in the post-match press conference was he got asked the question of, do you worry about who is going to win these championship fights? And he said, 4 or 5 years ago, back before or back while I was a young man, I started worrying about who was going to be in these fights and what it would be like and who I have to worry about. But now, it's not scripted. It's not anything. It's just those guys go out there and they beat the hell out of each other. And we deal with what comes of that. And I guess that started because the question really started with so if Stipe Miocic had actually beaten Daniel Cormier, was it going to be Stipe Miocic versus Brock Lesnar? And he said, whoever won this match was going to get Brock. So we're going to make that happen. But the reason why it works so well with Cormier is because Cormier's got a wrestling background, and those two at events and stuff have actually said, I could easily take you down. I could easily beat you in a wrestling match, blah, blah, blah. So it'll be interesting to see how they go into that match. Because it almost reeks of the same thing as the backstage brawl between Brock and Kurt Angle, that it was who took who down and who did what to the other, and only a certain few people out there actually know what actually happened in that whole thing. So yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Let's see, were there those are the two behind the scenes stories in WWE. Oh, there is another one.
What's that?
Rumor is Mr. 619
Ray's coming back.
Is signed, sealed, and delivered.
Now, is he coming to the main roster, or is he going to NXT? How about down there?
Oh, he's not going to NXT. About the only, I think he's a SmackDown guy through and through. He may show up on Raw, but I think that 2 nights after SummerSlam, SmackDown, he will be there. He has already been announced as the WWE 2K19 pre-order bonus. So that's, this is kind of like a no-brainer that he's actually signed a deal with the WWE. I think it's probably a 2-year deal. He's going to wrestle for the first year, and then the second year he'll go into the Hall of Fame. Very similar to Goldberg.
So you think he'll stick around and work behind the scenes after?
maybe
Ancient or something.
the WWE. God, 10 years ago was sitting there talking about trying to have a promotion in Mexico, a promotion in Europe, promotion in, Africa, wherever they could actually promote like a WWE program there. And it makes sense to put Mysterio in charge, or at least, have him overseen by somebody, but having him be the face of you're trying to brand into Mexico.
Well, that's the thing now. They've just now started the whole UK thing.
Exactly my point.
Now, here's my question there, because we know that Regal would be the perfect person to head that up, but he is technically the general manager of NXT. So what do you do there? Do you replace him there, or do you send somebody else? Who else do they have?
They just hired a UK general manager, Johnny Saint.
But I think Regal would do. I think Regal would be the man to do that.
Well, except Regal's been here so long that he doesn't have the same kind of connections or favor that someone like Johnny Saint does. And as such, that's why Johnny Saint was the guy that they picked for that. They picked a WWE Hall of Famer to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising they haven't put Regal into the Hall of Fame at this point.
He is awesome. He's awesome. I am. You laugh at me, but I'm still going back to the old.
Real man's man.
No, the old Raws. No, this is now is the fact where he's managing Eugene. He's mentoring Eugene. I'm in that era of Raw now. So he just came back from his whatever injury or probably rehab they was going through at the time or something.
There's a name you don't hear very often. Eugene Dinsmore. Yeah. Good old Nick Dinsmore. I wonder if I know he's still wrestling on the independent circuit, but I wonder if like with this mass expansion that they're talking may happen with WWE because SmackDown moving to 3 hours. And Fox, I wonder if he'd be a guy that they'd want to bring back.
Not as Eugene. I don't think that character, as PC as everybody is now, would fly.
Yeah. Well, I guess the way it could fly is if they actually did hire an autistic person to wrestle, but you'd actually have to have an autistic person that was capable of going in the ring with these guys.
Now, was Eugene supposed to be autistic?
Well, that's what I always thought. What did you think?
I just thought he was mentally challenged. I thought he was.
Well, I mean, that's still a form of autism, isn't it?
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, JR did make a because it's the same time that The Rock's coming out and was defending Eugene. He goes, "What is The Rock gonna make movies with him? Are they gonna remake Rain Man?" I'm like, "See, that was wrong. That wouldn't have flown in 2018."
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
In 2004, that shit was funny.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was going through the Twitter feed today, and Jim Cornette actually talked about how at one point he said something like, "This went up as fast as the Challenger." Okay, and we're talking 1984, like spaceship exploding, right? And Dusty Rhodes shut down production of the show, went out there and was like, "Don't mention the Challenger ever again. Go out there and do it again." And they actually started it back up and made him redo the commentary for the match that he was talking about because Jim Cornette was so blown up about it. Wow. I just did not mean the pun. But yeah, and it was.
I was gonna let it go.
You just got. I caught myself. So yeah, there was that. So all right. So there's a pay-per-view next week.
Yes.
Have they announced any of the card?
They have. And
who's Brock facing?
They hadn't said yet.
Oh, Brock's not facing anybody.
I don't think Brock's there yet.
Well, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss is an Extreme Rules match.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a dual branded match. And so you've got AJ Styles.
Right.
I don't remember his face. See, I don't think they've announced it. And
it's Rusev.
It's Rusev for the challenge for the belt. Asuka.
Lana is best. Lana number one. Lana is the best. Lana number one. Lana is best. Lana number one.
Yeah, but Lana isn't wrestling. Instead, it's going to be Asuka.
Yeah,
Asuka and Carmella.
That's true. Yeah, so I bring that up because I said I didn't really watch any wrestling this week, but I did watch WWE Network this week. I watched 2 episodes of.
I saw that on the Facebook.
2 episodes of Ride Along, folks, and
I've never watched that show.
And the only reason why I watched one of them was because there was an article on Bleacher Report that said like 5 things that if they had gone differently, how that would have affected everything else. Like Enzo Amore being fired. Enzo Amore being fired meant that we got Team Little Big.
Yes.
Because Enzo Amore was originally going to be Alexa Bliss's partner in the Mixed Match Challenge. So Team Little Big actually did an episode of Ride Along.
Oh my God, Braun and Alexa for you guys who don't know.
Yes, and what really made this a funny episode was that it was them and it was also Titus Worldwide.
All of them?
Yeah, so Dana Brooke driving they weren't all in one car. They were in 2 different cars. It was Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss, and they were driving from Buffalo, New York to Cleveland, Ohio. And it's hilarious because all of a sudden Braun like Dana in the other car is talking about how Braun Strowman actually like has a list of where he's taking a crap. Like, so everywhere they drive, where he's taking a crap. And Braun's sitting there, he's like, get in the car, I'm hungry. You know, and like Alexa's like, don't you talk to me like that. And he's like, I'll talk to you any way I want. The monster wants to eat. He said something like, my belly button is touching my spine. It was freaking hilarious, man. And then he's sitting there, he's going on and on about it, and they stop at a Wendy's, and he's like, I want 2 salads, and I want 5 chicken wraps with no cheese on those, and I want a small fry, and what kind of diet sodas you got, and a Diet Coke, right? And so all of a sudden he gets the bag of food and he hands it to Alexa, and she goes, is my small fry in there? And he's like, no, I'll go get it. And he like climbs out of the car to go get the yes. So he goes in and he actually tweeted to Wendy's. He's saying something about how like the food's taking forever, and they wrote back to him, please don't tip over the store. So that shit was hilarious. And then and so the whole thing about where and how Braun poops was because Dana Brooke was like, oh, I got the bubble guts.
Oh no.
And Titus called up her mom. First of all, called her mom, by the way. He's like, hey mom. And she's like, hi Titus. Like this is a normal occurrence for them. And sits there and says, hey, we're going to Cleveland. What kind of food you gonna have for me? So of course, like Dana Brooke's mom is
she from Cleveland?
Yeah, she's from Cleveland. So now all of a sudden she's got to cook for them. Now they're leaving after Raw, right? So this is like they're gonna get to Cleveland at like 2:00 in the morning. but the so the best part of the episode was absolutely how Braun and Alexa actually deal with each other, like because those two. I could totally see them, even though he's almost 7 feet tall and she's 5 feet tall, them being a couple because they're hilarious together, right? God. But Titus calls up Batista, like literally what? Dave Batista, yeah, and in the bottom corner it says now on the phone, Dave Batista, and he's like, hey man, I've been trying to tell these guys that I'm gonna be leaving so I can go out to Hollywood with you, and he's like, well, I wouldn't go leaving too early, Titus.
Oh my God!
Oh, shit's just hilarious, man. I'm gonna have to go back and watch like all the episodes because that episode was good, and then I just left the WWE Network on, so the next episode happened, and it was the Iconics in one car, God. And oh God, they're so annoying to listen to, man. They're so hot, but they're so annoying to listen to, right?
God.
And
I want to watch that episode.
Well, they
nail the car.
They do the game where it's who do you kiss, who do you marry, who do you kill, and they do The Rock, Stone Cold, and
James Ellsworth.
No. No. The first one was Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, and Dolph Ziggler, and I think it was Billy Kay actually, like, you know, kicks Dolph Ziggler to the curb.
Oh damn!
But marries Daniel Bryan because, you know, we all know how good of a guy he is what she said. Who was the other car? I can't remember. But what was really funny about it was that was the trip from Fayetteville to Raleigh.
Oh.
So of course, like, as they go and they show the streets or whatever, I'm like, I know that road. I know where they are. You know.
So that was the SmackDown then, probably version of it. Then.
Yes. Who was the other vehicle?
New Day. I know they did one.
No, it wasn't New Day. It doesn't matter.
We'll have to go back and watch.
It doesn't matter, Tino.
Oh, whatever.
So yeah. So that like, I watched 2 episodes of a show on there that I've never watched before. I thought it was pretty funny.
That one with the little big or
Team Little Big.
I'm gonna go back and watch that one.
Yeah.
That
one is hilarious, especially since, like I said, Braun Strowman's sitting there. He's and like at the end, he's like, you want me to go ahead and carry you into the hotel room, into the hotel again, or whatever? And he actually picks her up and he just, like, walks her into the hotel, and Titus is like, man, it's just funny. It's just good stuff. I really like Table of Three, but
that's a good one too. I do watch that.
You know, some of them, to me, they don't seem like they make sense as to why they're doing it. You know.
Yeah.
But like the Cornette, Eric Bischoff.
That was a good one.
And who was
Heyman?
It was Paul Heyman. That's right. Yeah, that one was really good. The one with Steamboat, Sting, and Flair was good.
That was a good one.
I like the big man one where it was Kane, Mark Henry, and Big Show.
I like the one where it was the old Godfather, Mark Henry. It was
Lana is best.
No,
Lana
it was
one.
a Nation of Domination, because it was
D'Lo?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't D'Lo.
It wasn't D'Lo. It was the Godfather. It was Mark Henry, and it was somebody Ron Simmons, because they were like, because The Rock sent them gifts. Did you see this one? The Rock sent them all gifts. You know, he gave them Rolexes in the past, right? So he goes, he sent us more gifts, right? So The Rock sent them gifts. So Mark Henry and Godfather open theirs and the Rolexes, and Ron Simmons opens his. And it's an autographed picture of The Rock. Remember what he did? He said, "Damn, they got me again."
There was one where they had.
Oh, I love that one.
There was one where they had Michael Hayes on it. That was pretty funny.
That was good. I saw the one with
AJ Shane and Kurt Angle.
And I saw the one with Finn Balor.
Yeah, the one where he's got the button done all the way up. Oh no, that was Neville. I wanted to say Aaron Neville. Adrian Neville.
Yeah, because he's eating a banana.
Yes. I did also see the one where it was AJ, Kevin Nash, and Shawn Michaels.
That was a good one.
That one's really good because, of course, he's like, so how do we set this up? Like, how? And that's when AJ's like, well, I actually asked, last year, does Shawn wanna go? And Shawn's like, people are just gonna have to realize that it's not gonna be the same Shawn Michaels that it would have been. And then, of course, Kevin Nash is like, how does that voice come out of you?
I wanted to see the one with the Double J Road Dogg.
Oh, I watched that one. And Elias.
I want to see that.
Elias just basically sits back and lets those guys talk.
And I heard they all did a rendition of
they did.
My Baby Tonight.
Be My Baby Tonight.
All three of them.
They did.
Oh.
They did. And in fact, Elias was like, I thought you guys were going to come up to me at the Hall of Fame. And they were like, we were supposed to, but then we thought we were running out of time. And that's why when I got back up on stage, Road Dogg's like, how long is this song? Because they went up to Heath Slater, and Heath Slater didn't know any of the words.
Oh my God! You got Bruce Pritchard singing it every damn chance he gets.
Oh God, yeah. Well, Bruce Pritchard, man. Everybody keeps telling me something to wrestle with or something else to wrestle with, whatever the one on the WWE network is so good, but I can't listen to Conrad, man. And apparently he's excellent on everything else, but he always says rumors and innuendo.
That's
Rumors and innuendo. Rumors and innuendo. Rumors and.
He's got one with your boy Eric Bischoff now, 83 weeks. Where they,
I heard it's great.
It is.
I've heard it's great, but I does he say rumors and innuendo on it, or is that just a Bruce Pritchard thing?
He doesn't Pritchard. He says it's some on the Shivani one. I hadn't heard him say
it
yet.
Because he, like, that first episode of Something to Wrestle With on WWE Network, he must have said it like 38 times. Mm-hmm. And I just...
Rumors and innuendo.
I know, folks, that I say the word so all the time on this show. But I don't say something like rumors and innuendo.
And you're starting to say bro a lot, too.
Well, I do that when I wanna sound like Vince Russo. Bro, let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. Bro.
6-pack challenge.
6-pack challenge match, player. Lana is best. Lana number one. Lana is best. Lana number one. That's who was the other car that night. It was Rusev, Lana, and Aiden English. That's why I'm doing it. Because Aiden English sits there and he goes, all right, I've got 5 questions for each of you. You both answered the 5 questions. And it was basically the match game. And it was, can you get the answer right that the other person said? It's pretty funny. They called it the Machka game. And then Rusev said, you know, Machka means sex in Russian. And he's like, yeah, I found that out the last time we were on the show.
Wait, but that's one of his things, Rusev, the Machka. And it's got Machka on his damn. What the hell? You notice that Lana's not using that accent anymore?
She is on TV, but she's not like on Ride Along, there was no accent.
She's not really using it that much on SmackDown either.
Well, good. You know,
but she did this week. That's what it was. The cast from Glow came on, and they were all talking to. Was that?
That was a couple weeks. No, that was a couple weeks ago.
And then they had the one chick who's doing her Russian accent.
Oh yeah. That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Glow's all right. It's a pretty good show on Netflix.
I started watching the second season.
The sex scenes.
The second season yet.
The second seizure.
She-shells by the seashore. Peter Piper.
You couldn't even start it right. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Yes, bitch.
Woo! Lana has the best line.
Oh, God. I think we're done.
All right, so do what you do.
All right, folks, you can check him out on Twitter at PotChat. You can check me out at HoodieFan91, the Potsy and Tino show. You also can go to Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.com/Potsy and Tino show.
There we go.
We both also have Instagrams. He has no idea what his is.
SC Tino.
Why is it SC Tino?
Because that's my email address is sctino@yahoo.com. I've had this for years. I've had it since I graduated college. And don't laugh. I'm gonna tell you why it's SC. Because I was a big Stone Cold Steve Austin fan.
So you were Stone Cold Tino?
SC Tino, that's what it is now.
Well, I'll tell you something, okay? I used to be in this game called e-wrestling a long time ago. You know, it was, in fact, it's where I still know a bunch of writers from, and my character in that was the Pots, based on the Rock.
The Pots.
Yeah. So of course, you know, my nickname is Potsy. His nickname was Rocky. You know, so yeah.
Every time I hear Potsy, I think of Happy Days.
But that's what a lot of people do. But you know, it's he wasn't even the ginger. The ginger was Ralph Malph.
Yeah. But I think his name was like his Pot something was probably his.
Yeah, so I don't.
Part of his name.
I don't.
Yours.
Yeah, exactly. Although with Happy Days, he could have been a pothead.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. Hey, speaking of Happy Days, did you know that Henry Winkler is going to be at Raleigh SuperCon on the 27th?
No.
Yeah, the Fonz. He's just going to be there. He's going to be one of the guests.
He's going to be wearing a leather jacket going, hey.
I doubt it. He's definitely older than the leather jacket at this point. But, you know, Dave Bautista's going to be there.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be a huge show.
I have to check that out. I didn't know they're going to be there.
Dude, it's going to be, like, wrestler-wise, there's Rey Mysterio supposed to be there.
I heard that.
Trish Stratus is supposed to be there.
Hear that.
Mick Foley's supposed to be
Yeah, I
there.
heard.
Christian's supposed to be there.
Yeah, I heard
So I mean, like if you're still trying to get some podcast spots for us, since I got all those Ring of Honor guys,
Jesus.
and now we might not be able to play the Jay Lethal one for a while.
What is going on with that?
I don't know.
You think it's true?
Rumors and innuendo.
Thank you to Adam's House Cats for the wrestling song. Until next week, this fool is Rob Potsy Podcheck. I am Tino Gray. Off in the distance in that big house in Charlotte, we hear the Nature Boy, and he is saying, woo! Good night. Lana is the best. Lana number one. That's awesome.